Zach, is that better? Yeah, that should be better. Nope. There we go. That should be a lot better here. It's not an audio. It's not a stream with Jason without some audio problems, right?
Right?
Yeah.
You can't go live with me on camera and have the audio work right away.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
That's just how it is. Let's give them a second to chime in to let us know that they can hear things now. Better! Whoa! All right.
Now, should we threaten the camera to
Threaten
see if we can
there we go.
get the color working right? Camera. Come on, camera.
And then we just relax. And
we're ready again.
Yeah.
What,
So,
this is the weirdest
welcome to Nuclear Imperial Polls.
Nuclear. Yeah. Shout out to Nuclear Buttons. Yeah.
This is not Brian. As
I'm
you
not?
Can tell. You're not Brian. I'm still Joe.
You are still Joe.
But you are not Brian.
I'm not Brian. Oh, there goes all my plans.
Yeah. So,
who am I?
you are my very good friend. Jason.
Jason.
How do I know Jason?
How do you know Jason? Probably through your very good friend Brian.
Probably through my very good friend Brian. Brian did in fact introduce us indirectly because you used to own the local game store.
I did. Yeah.
And introduced me to Genesis Battle of Champions.
Great game.
Love it.
Love it.
And
not going to talk about it tonight though.
We're not at all?
Well, I don't know. That's not why we're here, right?
No, it's not why we're here. If you can read and you saw the thumbnail or the description, you will know that we're here to go through some of my old Magic cards.
Yes.
A bunch of episodes ago, we did an episode where we went through about half a box of cards.
What episode are we doing tonight?
We're doing episode number 40 for Imperial
40!
Polls.
That's a big milestone.
That's a great
40.
one. 40.
40!
There we go.
There we go.
And as part of tonight's
the
episode...
side of my face looks so... Ooh.
Dare I say you're hot?
Yeah, definitely.
You look hot, Jason. So
might melt.
tonight we're going to open up the other half of that box, or look through the other half of that box of mid-90s kind of Magic with a few different sets.
You're going to see some white borders. Mm-hmm. You're going to see some black borders.
And that means nothing to me. Like I said, so I used to collect Magic back in the 90s. Yeah. I never learned to play. Never had any interest in any TCGs. Mm-hmm. Didn't really care to do anything with them, but I liked the art. It worked out in the long run.
I assume you had friends who played, and that's why you were even aware of the art.
Yeah, I knew some people who played at high school and stuff.
Did you know Brian in high school?
I've known Brian since we were 3 or 4.
Okay.
But we went to different high schools.
Oh, so you didn't really hang out with him in high school?
Not at all. And then after high school, we kind of got friends again. So before we get any further and introduce to everybody how you know anything about Magic...
Sure.
We should do the celebratory opening.
Oh, yes. I was wondering, is this episode like endorsed or sponsored in any way?
We're not sponsored in any way.
No?
We're simply enthusiasts.
We're enthusiasts. Well, I can be very enthusiastic about this.
Today we have Whitewater. Whitewater Brewing Company. North meets South.
Yes, and I have good feelings about the word North in my life.
I bet you do.
So this feels like this one was handpicked just for tonight, which is pretty cool.
There we go.
I'll be North and you be South. Is that okay?
That's what it is. Is that like top and bottom?
I wouldn't know.
Let's open the beer.
Well, now I'm worried about drinking with you. Who knows where this is going to lead? I did ask you
to shut the lights off earlier.
Yeah, that's true. He did
to try to fix this whole orange thing, but it turns out our camera just has an attitude.
As I got a little bit enthusiastic with my opening. I apologize.
Cheers.
Cheers, my friend. There we go. I approve this message.
Oh, I like that. It's like about a 20 IBU.
Yep.
Nice and... it says juicy and hoppy, but it's not very hoppy.
But did you find that it does have a nice aftertaste? Mm-hmm. Do you get after the fact, which was... It goes down good. Like yeah.
We've blended the incredible flavors that the unique landscapes of Norway and New Zealand offer, making this pale ale anything but boring. It's quite delicious, and it's easy to drink. It's pretty kind of simple. Mm-hmm.
Yep, they'd probably make a great sponsor for this channel if they so chose.
Oh, Whitewater Brewing Company.
Oh, yeah, they could just think of all the recognition they could gain by attaching their train to your track.
Right? We could upgrade our camera to have good color.
Oh, I don't know.
It's overexposed. There we go.
Yeah.
See? I don't know.
It is the weirdest thing that,
it is.
That threatening the camera makes it work better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So why did I ask you to come help with Magic? For those people who didn't see the first episode.
Because you don't get enough audio glitches when your live streams start.
That's true.
So you wanted to have me here so that you'd have an excuse for audio glitches.
Although Brian and I did do that one episode that like 10 minutes in, we had no audio. and we didn't know it.
That was the special tribute episode to the hearing impaired. It was a very
you called me.
Minutes. Yeah.
And I was like, why is he calling me? He knows I'm in a stream. And then you called Brian, and then we thought, something's wrong.
Well, that time was because the live chat. You guys weren't replying.
Oh, that was the chat. That's right.
That was a different one.
You've harassed us.
There have been a few
Many
episodes
times.
where I have, harassed you, to use your wording. But that's just because I'm such a passionate fan of Imperial polls. Right. I can't spend a Sunday night without wanting to tune in and see what you and other you are going to do.
Fake Brian. Yeah. So, what is it about Magic that you know? What do you bring to the table tonight?
Well, Magic the Gathering was the first collectible card game that I became familiar with, partly because I learned Magic so long ago, it was still the only collectible card game at the time. It was the original one. And I played it a little bit in high school, and then much later, about 15 years ago, I kind of saw a sign for Magic the Gathering in a window of a store as I was driving by, and it kind of pulled me back in. I caught up a bit. And then it wound up being that, eventually I got really involved in it, became a huge fan, was playing every Friday night at my local game store. Not actually my local game store, but just one in the area at the time. And then wanted to become a Magic judge to try and help the local game stores playing at host bigger, more exciting events. So then I was years of traveling around all around North America, getting paid to go visit exciting places to judge Magic at very high stakes tournaments.
Awesome.
And I got some really cool memories from it. I've done some really cool things that most people never get to do. I've been featured on live streams of Grand Prix that were airing all across the world on the internet.
And Imperial polls.
I've been featured. That's the highlight. I was starting at the least impressive things.
Good, perfect.
And I was working my way up,
right.
So I'm fairly good with the rules of Magic. I played a lot. I've been a really big fan, and it really did, without exaggerating, it was a game that changed my life because it gave me an excuse and a way to afford to travel, to meet new friends in new cities, and I just got a really fun experience in my life out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome.
So I feel like I owe this game more than this game owes me.
Right. So cool. And as mentioned, I know nothing about Magic. I liked it for the art. So.
Yeah, you're not really even kidding about that.
I really don't know anything. I can tell you
Could you play a game if you knew?
No.
So if somebody handed you a deck and sat down at a table, you wouldn't automatically know how to play the game yet.
The only thing I know is that you turn your card to tap it. And that's basically you've exerted it.
Basically, yeah.
That's what I know about Magic the Gathering.
Oh, that's interesting.
I really don't know anything about it except for what you guys have told me about it.
That makes you a little bit, to use a phrase, it makes you a little bit of a unicorn because there aren't many people who love collectible card games to the level that you love collectible card games who doesn't have the background of playing Magic first.
Right.
For many of us, that was the first game. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Well, I would like to make it out to RLGS now, the Jackson Queen.
Yeah, great store.
Every Wednesday they do Flesh and Blood. Mm-hmm. And there's a new set that comes out next week.
Yeah. You just missed out, too, because they did a midnight pre-release.
I know they did, and I only found out about it on Sunday. Or Saturday, rather, when I came out to play Genesis.
And you found out it had been
the night before.
Yeah. That's too bad, because those are great times.
Yeah.
Staying till 3 or 4 in the morning playing a card game.
Yeah. I have a feeling if I'm going to learn how to play it, I shouldn't do it on a pre-release night because the guys that are playing it know what they're doing. I don't want to kind of dampen their experience. But
I don't think it would, though, because to be honest, midnight pre-release events at stores are always the most passionate people who are going to have the best time anyway because they're there because they want to be there.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Well, should we go through some
cards? How could you ruin anybody's fun?
Oh,
you're such a lovable guy.
I'm so glad you're here.
I love this guy.
Orange or not, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, that's just the microwave radiation.
That's
talking.
right. Shall we go through some cards?
Yeah, we can totally go through some cards.
Let's,
and when we feel like it, I brought a few spicy cards of my own to talk about. So I pulled and I haven't shown you yet. There's some things in a deck box that I brought here with me. Some cool cards. There's a small chance that some Magic players who might be watching this stream who are more casual, not really diehard people, might have not even heard of some of these types of cards that I brought. So it could be a learning experience for viewers and for you.
Well, I know that Zachary, who is in the chat, is a huge Magic player.
Zachary!
Also a Genesis Battle of Champions player.
Yeah.
But is a big Magic player, as is his wife. So
yes. What's his wife's name again?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
Just call her Sissy.
Sissy?
Yeah.
She's a sissy?
Yeah. Well, no, she is the sister of my girlfriend.
Oh, she's...
So we call her Sissy.
Okay.
But her name is Kim.
Kim, that's it. Yeah. Zach and Kim, you guys rock. Woo! Got to come out to the store and play some games again sometime.
We will do that. Well, shall we? Let's switch over.
Okay.
And I think I can do that.
Is that the right button?
That's the right button.
I think they're still seeing us.
They are seeing us because I haven't transitioned yet.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to get the card in the
So
right spot.
it was the right button.
That's
Okay.
right. You ready?
Sure.
Here we go. Bye, everybody.
I'm ready. I'm so ready. I'm
There
glowing.
we go. We're still glowing in this camera, but that's just how it's going to go.
All right.
Um,
This just happens to be the top card that was
Yeah.
on the pile, just for lining up to make sure people can see it. Let's also test out the close-up cam just for giggles.
Yep. Let's.
So
I'm going to turn off that mode and go close-up cam.
and then
Now you know where you got to hold it.
yeah,
Do
there we
you?
go.
There
There we go. I've been drinking a little, but don't
That's
worry,
right.
I'm just an enthusiast.
You're not sponsored either.
I'm trying.
There we go.
This could be the beer of champions.
It could be.
A little Genesis pun
Let's,
there. Okay? Beer of champions, get it?
Get in a close-up cam.
But the beer?
The beer.
Yeah, get the beer on the close-up cam.
Maybe. There we go.
Yeah. Oh, wait. There we go. Look at that. That could be
It's
the
delicious.
official beer of champions because it tastes good. So we'll see if they reach out.
Somebody tag them, would you?
Yeah, tag them in this video. Tell them their sales are going to start going through the roof now that we're drinking their drinks.
All 80 of our subscribers are going to buy beer there now.
Yeah. 81 because I'll do it twice.
There you go.
That's a good beer. So.
All right, what have we got here tonight?
Well, let's. We started off tonight with a card, Abbey Matron, which is just kind of a generic spell that I don't really recognize. It's not one that I played back in the day, but I'm gonna skip past that because Circle of Protections I used to love. Oh,
Slide
let me
those
move that
down
down a
just
bit.
to smidge.
Yeah,
There
it
we
is
go.
more like that. I used to love these Circle of Protections.
Cameras are being their own thing tonight, but anything that we need to zoom in on, we'll switch cameras for.
Is it okay to leave it here?
Yeah.
You're the boss.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just the guest in this stream.
You're just the guest.
You're the guy who's paying me the big bucks to be here tonight. So
I don't think it makes much of a difference from there to there, does it?
Probably not.
No. All
And
right.
if anyone in the chat has a
Yeah.
preference, they can let us know.
If there's one you'd like to see closer, we will. Yeah, Janice, the cards are not in focus because we've had to zoom in so much.
You'll have to forgive us. Joe's been drinking today.
It's true. This is my first time.
So, it's your first time.
Episode 40, my
That's
first
not.
time.
That's not the first time you've said that, though.
No,
is
it's not. Not at all.
it? Go easy on me. Oh,
Janice
she's
just got here.
like, you guys are orange.
We're
So-
not. Watch. See?
Look, see, we threaten the camera.
Yep. We're
Rawr, and then
We're just having some tech. It's not an episode with Jason here if there's not some tech issues.
yes, I take full responsibility
Yep.
for everything Joe is doing wrong tonight.
Yep.
It is all my fault.
That I'm doing it wrong.
Yes.
I got it. It's fine.
See how I covered for you there?
Yeah, I like that. That
Well,
was some backhanded support.
I'm nothing of not supportive, my friend.
That's right. Sorry, you were talking about Circle of Protection.
In this case, this one happens to be Circle Protection Blue, but they did them for all of the colors. Circle Protection White, Red, Green, whatever. I used to love these when I first got into Magic because I thought these were so overpowered. I'm like, for 1 mana, I can prevent all the damage a creature's going to do for me. And then I learned fairly quickly that sometimes people attack with 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 creatures. And if you're spending 7, 8, 9, or 10 mana to try and protect yourself, you don't have any points left on your turn to actually cast any creatures to do anything good. So the new player in me thought like, oh, it was just overpowered. And then as I continued to lose over and over, I slowly learned, very slowly, that maybe they weren't as good as I thought.
I remembered when I first started building my own decks for Genesis, and I built a deck full of what is it?
Was it a 5 cheat card and you did 50 of them?
No, there was the bird that sits on the post, and he does air damage, and I was like, that means he has aerial. And he was super cheap, so I built a deck with a whole bunch of them in it. And the first game I went to play, I was like, "Ha! Air damage!" You're like, can't do that. It says right there on the air. It's like, no, that's not aerial.
Yeah, it's just air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do learn more stuff as time goes on. Although based on yesterday, I haven't learned anything in the past year.
Oh, what do you say that
I won
for?
1 game out of 6 last night.
There was someone who won 0 games out of 6, so you know,
I'm doing all right.
You won a little bit.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly though, like even like when I play, I usually lose most of the games I play, but if it's a good game, I'm happy.
That's it,
you
right?
know? So
Yep.
yeah. So these protections bring back some cool memories. Here's another cool card. Black Mana Battery, one of those classic artifacts with the kind of like gruesome artwork that they used to play around with a bit more back in the day when they just felt like they could get away with everything. Check out that cool artwork. It's like a skull with stuff growing out of it.
We're gonna focus. None of our cameras are gonna focus tonight, folks.
So this might be just an episode where we talk all night. We're going to tell you about the cards that we see because you can't see them. I promise you, I didn't sabotage the system when I got here.
I don't think you did. All right.
So let me just look through this pile real quick here because I know there were some cool cards hiding inside.
Yeah, there's some in here that are just kind of fluff. We're not too worried about.
We tried to set up the cameras ahead of time, but it seems like things have started to backfire.
That they have.
Yes, this card is. If you can't read the text, the card is called Backfire. Hence the pun. It's actually a really funny pun.
You know how you know puns are funny is when you say these are really funny puns.
Yeah. I've learned that over time.
Trust me, my jokes are hilarious.
Yeah. What else do I see here in this pile of craziness? Oh, Circle of Protection artifacts.
Yeah, let's just use this camera for now.
Yeah, I didn't even know that there was a Circle of Protection for artifacts. I never happened to see it back in the day when I played, so that's kind of cool to know. Joe, I got a question for you while we look at your pile of cards here. First question is, would this pile be basically all the cards you bought, or did you used to have a bunch more? And you
No, this is all the Magic I bought.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went fairly deep into it, though. We got a Circle of Protection black, Circle of Protection green, Circle of Protection red. These are all the ones that I remember thinking, I can't lose. I could never lose with these cards. And yet I found a way to lose consistently with them. Let's see what else that's cool here. Oh, Death Ward. That's a card I remember playing a lot. It is a white spell that for one you can regenerate a creature, which means if it was about to die, you could save it from dying by regenerating it. So that was a mechanic that used to be played a lot back in the day. I'm going to just move all these out of the way here for a second.
So given in Magic, well, let me step over to Genesis first.
Sure.
There's a stack in Genesis.
Yes.
Is there a stack or that kind of thing in Magic?
Yes, Magic was the first game that had a stack.
Okay, so there is a stack system. All right, because you're talking about rejuvenating something. I thought, okay, so you would do that after it's been hit.
Right, but before you actually put it in your discard pile.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I think you'll find there are little bits and pieces of Magic that have been adopted by every card game out there. Not every game uses a stack. Some of them do. Genesis, for example, uses a stack. Not every game has creature types on the card. Some of them do. Not every game is divided into 5 colors. Pokemon's divided into like 10 or 12 colors.
Okay.
But so like different card games took on different aspects of the card color identities, the different strategies for different colors, the stack, and yeah. So every game out there, I think basically every collectible card game out there has a little bit of Magic DNA in it because it was the inventor, the first one.
They were the ones, yeah.
So they basically created an entire industry and genre of games.
Yep.
They were the first collectible card game. So the neat thing is, if you've played Magic before, almost any game you try in the future, you're going to recognize some of the aspects for it.
Right.
And then that goes the other way too. If you, in your case, have played other games like Genesis, if you ever did go to learn Magic, there would be a little bit that you would recognize in it. So the nice thing is, as you discover a love for collectible card games and you learn one and then another, some things usually will cross over, and it gets easier as you learn more and more collectible card games.
Right. And Brian and I have talked about that too, is that like all I really know is Genesis.
Yep.
But to learn how to play Magic, or even not how to play them well, but the fundamentals of playing Magic or Flesh and Blood or Pokemon or whatever will help my gameplay in Genesis.
Yeah.
Because you see different play styles and different things that you wouldn't have caught before.
So this card here is a card that still gets printed into sets nowadays. This is called Ornithopter. It costs 0 to bring it out. Oh my goodness, is there going to be a way? Can I find it?
Down here, apparently, is where it's focused on everything. What if I move
maybe if we move those cards out of the way. Maybe that'll let it do it. I like Ornithopters because they cost 0. You can play them for free. They're a 0/2 flyer. And generally, you play these in decks where you will add a bunch of enchantments to them to make the power and toughness go up.
Oh, okay.
And then you kind of like, turn 1, you can play this guy and start putting enchantments on it. And
Aaron says he remembers the old Magic sets that had a lot of non-win coins that... Coins?
Cons. Win conditions.
Oh, okay. That needed unlimited mana. Just fun mechanics.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's Flight. We've got a similar card to that in our game as well, where you can attach it to something and give it flying.
Mm-hmm.
This here is an enchantment as well, so this will stay on turn after turn after turn until you blow it up.
So you don't have to renew those at all, paying to replay them?
Yeah, not enchantments.
Right.
So once they're out, they stay out. Similar to our game, too.
Yep.
So, and then these are pretty cool cards. There's a series. I'm just going to set them down for a sec if we can.
Yep.
There's a series of 3 different lands. Urza's Power Plant, Urza's Mine, and Urza's Tower. On their own, each one will give you 1 colorless mana when you turn them sideways or tap them. But if you have one of each out, all of a sudden, this one gives you 2 colorless mana when you turn it sideways. This one gives you 2 colorless mana. And wow, this one gives you 3 colorless mana. So on your 3rd turn, you could have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana instead of 3 if you wound up having them all early in your game. And there are a lot of colorless or artifact decks in Magic that really revolved around that for years and years and years, because that is insane amounts of mana to spend on colorless cards early in the game.
So are these reusable then? Like at the end of your turn, do they untap and then you can use them the next turn?
Yeah.
Tap them again? Okay.
Yeah, so when your turn begins in Magic, the first thing you do is you untap cards to refresh them. Okay. Then you draw a card off the top of your deck, and then you can start playing your turn out. So you could use them during your turn to cast to bring out stuff, or you could, if you don't tap them on your turn, you could use them during your opponent's turn to do an instant, which in Genesis you would think of as a swift ability.
Gotcha.
You can do while someone else is doing something. Yep. So yeah, so these are pretty cool. There were a lot of cool decks I had fun playing with.
Slide them down a little bit
with the Urza's Power Plant, Mine, and Tower in them. So cool old cards that have survived the test of time, and they still every now and then reprint them in.
Yeah, I've heard of Urza's Mine and Power Plant before. Obviously, I've pulled the cards, but just as a non-player, I'm familiar with the terms.
Yes, so that tells you how much they've been around. Then,
Yep.
if as a non-player they're on your radar.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. Urza is also a character who has been printed on cards, and he's been a planeswalker. Here's the Glasses of Urza, another card that there's so many cards that reference Urza. It's kind of like an iconic character that's been around in Magic since pretty much near the beginning, I guess. And then one of the things that I always liked about Magic, I got to give credit where credit is due, Magic does a great job of creating a bunch of cards on a theme, so you could build a deck built around a theme. For example, one of the most iconic types of decks through history have been elves, or their arch nemesis, goblins. So here's a card that'll summon a goblin.
Here, I can show it this way.
That one will give you a specific type of goblin. Here's a card that for 1 mana point you could sacrifice a goblin, and then it'll deal 5 damage to something. This is a goblin grenade, so you turn your goblin into an explosive and throw it at someone, which I don't think is very fair to the poor goblin. Oh, you got so many goblin grenades. Lots of goblin grenades. Then we've got some goblin kites here. Goblins flying kites. Basically, it's an enchantment. I'm pretty sure it gives your goblin flying. Something like that. Can't go on something with a toughness bigger than 2. Big walls of text. Goblin war drums. You could literally build decks that every single card in your 60-card deck revolves around goblins.
So it's 60 with Magic, is it?
Yep. And then to combat that, we've got Elvish Scouts, Elven Fortresses, Elvish Hunters, about 1 billion different versions of elves as well. So people who like tribes and themes are very happy in Magic, because you can build themes around almost any of your favorite creatures. In the works there, Aaron says Thopter decks were good. Thopters are a colorless artifact. Again, you saw the Ornithopter that I just showed, and then there's all sorts of other versions of Thopters.
Oh, okay.
So that's something I've always liked about Magic, is they give you ample versions of creature types that you like, so you can really go deep on it if you want.
Now, were they like that a lot in the beginning, or is it just because through the test of time they've been able to grow that much?
I don't know. I think it was probably intentional right off the bat, because I know that there was lots of elves and goblins and things like that in the very early sets. But I think what happened was probably they just discovered over time the players really gravitated to that. And they're like, let's lean heavier into that and do more supporting cards for certain types of creatures, so people can kind of pick their favorite. And kind of like in sports, and that you pick your favorite team, you always root for them. In Magic, if you're an elf player, you're always going to root for elves. You want to play elvish decks or goblin decks or whatnot. Janice in particular, she loves merfolk. So merfolk being kind of like mermaids, mermen, humans that live in the water and breathe the water and all that kind of stuff. And then so she would do all sorts of decks over time that just had nothing but water-based creatures and loves them. So yeah, lots of cool stuff like that in Magic. Let's see what else we got here.
Sure. Let's go back to that screen.
more Circles of Protection. I think I talked about this card in the first episode that we did of your classics, but I'll mention it again just because it makes me so happy to see it. Crawworm, the silly little 6'4" worm, giant worm guy. I remember sitting at a cafeteria table at MSS, the old high school in Midland that doesn't exist anymore. I remember playing these guys and thinking these guys are just the best thing ever. 6 power! Oh my god! They'll kill anything. But they also die a lot, at least when I pilot them.
So 6/4 is 6 power and 4 health?
Yep.
Okay.
It'll do 6 damage when it hits something, and you gotta do 4 damage in 1 turn to kill it.
Okay.
So
In 1 turn. So you can't beat it down to 2 and then the next time hit it for 2 more.
no, in Magic, if creatures don't die, they heal back up to full health when the next turn starts.
That's deadly.
Yeah. Yeah, the damage doesn't last turn after turn, so that's something that's very different from other games you've played. So, Fireball, really cool magic spell. You pay 1 to get it started, and then there's another number called X, and you're thinking X isn't a number, but it's sort of a number because X is an unknown variable.
Right.
Meaning you could dump as many points as you want in for X, and it'll do that much damage to something. So that was, I'm pretty sure this is literally the first X card that I ever played in Magic or saw. And once again, I'm like, I can't lose with this amazing card. I just need to have 20 points available, and I'll just blast someone for 20. But it turns out
Not how it works, huh?
Yeah, it turns out I die long before I get there. So now, what do you say we take a break for a minute from your cool pile of cards?
Sure.
And I'll show you some cool cards that I brought.
Sounds good.
So I've got some cool types of cards here. Most Magic players will be aware of all of them, but some people might not. So it'd be a fun thing. You might not be aware of these types of cards. So I thought it'd be fun to bring them and share them and show them. So
Sure thing.
first card I'm going to show you. Oh, let me just get all these out of this.
Yeah.
All the value here. All right. So, all right. So let's start with my most expensive Magic card I've ever owned.
Okay.
So this card here is going way back in time. This is a volcanic island, which was basically the first type of dual lands where it could tap for either a red or a blue, whichever you want. And then the next turn, when it untaps again, you could choose a different one the next time, red or blue.
If you hold it
Keep
down near the
reusing.
thing, it should probably, I don't know, somewhere in between there, I guess. I don't know. We're going to have to figure this out. All right, anyway.
So this card here is from, I believe this one is from 4th edition.
Okay.
So let me actually see what the copyright year on it is, if it even shows it, because back then they didn't always put the copyright years
Yeah,
on it.
I noticed that. The
so they didn't.
bottom information always is kind of inconsistent.
So this card here is from about the 2nd or 3rd year that Magic existed, I think. And I'm pretty sure if you were going to buy one of these in near mint condition today, it's around $1,800, give or
Wow.
take. Yeah.
For a land.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. Land can be the most expensive cards in your deck.
See, I always remembered, or no, not remembered. I always had the opinion that there we go. That land was just kind of like a token card.
Oh no, land are the most important part. It's the gas that makes your engine run. If you don't have powerful land that'll give you as many points as you can, as quick as you can, you'll just get outpaced by other Magic players. So oftentimes, the lands will be the most expensive cards in your deck.
Really?
Yeah, if you're playing competitive level Magic.
See, if you were to give me a big stack of Magic cards, I would take the land out and put them in the spokes of my bicycle. Because in my mind, like I said, they were tokens.
Well, normal lands are worthless. That's true. Like a
Okay.
normal, everyday, single color.
Yep.
10 cents each.
Okay, so they aren't super urgent or
not the normal ones,
Yeah.
but if you're trying to get an edge in a competitive environment, then having better lands that give you more options can be the difference between winning and losing.
Huh.
So this card, I took it in on trade a couple years ago in the game store, and I think it's around 1,800 right
Wow.
now. So
Well, I'll trade you this really nice Fireball. The thing about Fireball is it does X damage, and if you have 20 energy, you could just kill your opponents with
I
it.
can't lose.
You can't lose.
That's
so
amazing.
You should just trade me for that.
We'll negotiate after this.
Sure, off
live stream's
screen.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's something cool that a lot of people might not have seen, and I have two different ones in this sleeve. This here is a Judge promo Magic card, and you can tell it's a recent Judge promo Magic card because it has this owl kind of hidden behind the text. It's a
foil.
holographic. Yep. So that's how about 4 or 5 years ago they started showing that judge promos are different than normal ones, because only a judge promo will get that owl on it.
Cool.
Judge promos in the past have typically been given out to judges who work at major events or attend conferences to learn, better skills and improve themselves. It's kind of what Wizards of the Coast, the company that makes Magic, does, is they will print a bunch of these promos that never go into packs, never go anywhere other than to tournament organizers to reward judges for going to major events or training sessions and whatnot. And they wind up being really valuable generally, because people want to get something that nobody else has, and judge promos are generally very limited supply.
Yeah.
So these were ones that I was rewarded with for going to a convention, learning seminar in Las Vegas while I was judging for 3 days in a Grand Prix in Las Vegas about 5 years ago. I got a pack of 4 different cards. I still have these 2 out of the pack of 4. A normal version of one of these cards could be like $5 or $10, but a judge promo, because it's so rare, you'll often get you'll see them shoot into the hundreds of dollars.
Wow.
So even especially when they first come out, once it's the start of a new year and judges are getting promos in the first wave ever and they're just hitting the market, you could I remember one time I got a card called an Imperial Seal from Magic, and it was a card that it had new artwork on it, and it had never been reprinted from the first time it came out. So those cards, I got 2 or 3 of them, because I went to a couple conferences and I was traveling a lot, judging at that time. I got 2 or 3 of them, and each one I sold for over $500 Canadian in like a month. So it was just like, hey, this pays me back for traveling and stuff.
Yep.
So there is like a big economy for judges.
Interesting.
The other interesting thing that I can say about this, now that I'm not officially working as a Magic judge anymore and not really involved in that community anymore, is in the past, a lot of times judges would go and they'd work at Grand Prix and stuff like that, and I did it many times, where I would work for 10 or 12 hours on my feet. On a convention floor, concrete floor, giant hall, running your tail off all day. You get 2 breaks total. Yeah, and they would... the culture was always Magic judges do it for the love of the game, and they do it because they want to promote the community and keep the game going, and also because you do get paid somewhat that helps cover your costs, but usually you wouldn't make enough money off your pay to actually cover your flights and your hotels for the whole thing.
Yep.
So usually you do lose a bit of money going and traveling. So these judge promos became a way that Wizards of the Coast was kind of giving something to the people who are traveling and going out of their way to run these big events, where they could then turn around and flip them for a lot of money and make back their costs.
Right.
So that's kind of how that works.
Interesting.
Yeah. So next card I have to show you, I actually have 3 of these.
Okay.
These are interesting cards because these are cards that a lot of people may not know actually exist. So here's an interesting backstory before. Well, I'll show you one first. Let's see which one, because I have 3 of them to show you here. I'll let you take a look at this card, and then you can show it to the camera after you've looked at it. So what Joe is looking at is he is looking at a holiday promotional card. If you own a game store...
May I?
Sure. Yes, okay. Please do. If you own a game store, at the end of the year, Wizards of the Coast will usually send your game store a Christmas card. And inside that Christmas card is a Magic card with artwork that's like a funny themed pun on some holiday thing. Now, what's that card you're holding called?
Some disassembly required.
Right, because you know how when you're getting gifts, it's usually some assembly required. So this is a card that has a funny pun on it. It's got a Christmassy theme vibe artwork. And what happens is you only get one for your whole store. So usually the owners will just hang on to them or whatnot, because it's so rare. You're not going to just give it away or raffle it off usually. So we, having had a store open for several years, we wound up with a bunch of them. I brought 3 of them to show you tonight. Yep. Some disassembly required. This one here is Bog Humbugs. So that one's got a bit of a theme to it with music and insects.
Do you know what song that is on the bottom?
I didn't look at the music. No. Do you know?
It is Jingle Bells.
Is it? That's cool. So yeah, it's got the actual music for Jingle Bells written on the bottom of the card. And then the last of these cool holiday promo cards that I brought is, you know what happens when you put off buying gifts for too long and then it's like getting right to the final moments?
Yeah, you save a lot of money.
Well, you got to go and do some last minute chopping. So this card here, last minute chopping, a little bit of a pun there. I believe there's an axe in the artwork somewhere kind of idea. So yeah, so those cards, a lot of people don't even know they exist because I don't ever really see people talk about them much. But every year, game stores will get one copy. So those are actually some of the most rare cards. I don't know if they'd be more rare than Judge promos or not, because it's a question of, is there more stores or more judges?
Right.
So I'm not sure, but there's something you do not see very often. And you could have a store with 10 employees and 100 people playing every week, but they still only get one card at the holiday season. So so those are some cool keepsakes I've kept from my days of owning a game store.
How neat is that? Aaron's got a question for you.
Yes, I see that. I was going to get to it. Any cool cards for judges in the future? Oh, yes, for sure. We will have some very cool cards for judges in the future. We will be doing some judge promos. I've said when we first, either our very first stream or our second one, when we first took over the game and announced that we were the new makers of it, I said one of the things I'm very passionate about is the fact that I want to make sure that our judges who work at events get properly compensated. I don't want to take advantage of the goodwill of people and pay them less than minimum wage to work 12 hours.
Well, like you said, being 12 hours on your feet in an arena is not easy.
No, it's not. So I want us as a company and as a game to really properly reward the people who put in the time to learn the game and be able to contribute in a meaningful way at events.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just as I've also said many times that I want Genesis to be a game that really respects and takes care of the stores that are our retail partners. I feel the same way about the judges. That as a game, we really want to respect and appreciate the people who put the time and the energy into making sure that events are a good experience for everybody there.
Right.
So yeah. So that's about all I got to say about Genesis. But yeah.
Well, thanks for bringing those promos in.
Yeah.
Clearly stuff I would never ever see.
Yes. If you were a Magic fan, the way you are a Genesis fan, you'd be killing yourself trying to find all these.
I'm sure.
Because they've been doing stuff like that for years, right?
Well, Brian has been, I don't want to say begging, he's been persuading me to
begging you
do an episode to show some of the promos that I have.
Oh, yes.
For Genesis. So maybe in the summer we'll do
Gonna open up the vault maybe?
Maybe so.
Oh, wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. We'll look at some of the stuff that I've got.
I can say with great confidence that despite the fact I'm one of the people involved with the company that make the game, I have no doubt you have seen probably 10 times the amount of Genesis promos since you've been a fan than I have, because you are the most impressive collector of cards I've ever met. So
that's why I don't want to get into another game.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not rich enough.
No, that's right. That's right. Need a few more drummers wearing some gear.
Right? Well, yeah. That's good. You keep doing that. Getting all those famous people to buy your jerseys and wear them. Let's check out some of the classic lands here. We'll show you what some of these cool white border lands look like here. We got the plains there.
So these are the 10-cent cards for lands, right? These are the cheap lands?
These ones actually might be worth a little bit just because they're so old now. But generally speaking, lands like these, just the normal everyday basics, don't really go up in value much, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. So there's a few different lands there.
What else we got in here? Joe, you got an impressive collection of commons.
Well, thank you.
I can tell you, you have many, many commons here. Many commons. Looking through the commons. Common chameleon.
Common chameleon.
Here's a non-basic land. This is a cool one. It does something special.
This one is comes into play tapped. Oh, come on! You're gonna have to tell me what that means. When it's tapped,
add one of the white mana.
Well, white mana to your mana pool, and then tap it, sacrifice runes of Trocaire to add 2 to your mana pool.
Yep. So you could tap it like normal to give yourself 1 mana.
Yep.
But if you want to sacrifice it and give it up for the rest of the game, it'll give you a one-time shot of 2 mana at once.
Okay.
But there's also the
It wouldn't be a Jason live stream if we could actually hear him. Come on, you can't hear Jason, or you just couldn't hear him earlier?
Oh. I am sorry, Madtown Hobby.
We're in the same mic tonight, so
I need to enunciate. I apologize.
Although he may be referring to the fact that at the beginning of the stream there was nothing.
True. Yeah. Maybe he's been around since the beginning.
Yeah.
Because there was a little bit of an audio glitch when the episode started. Mm-hmm. This is true. True. That was my fault, I'm sure.
You know what? I'm the one that didn't press the button. But Today we're orange, we're fuzzy.
Yes. Oh, yes. Threaten the camera to get the color right. Camera, do your job right. And then back to microwave again. Yeah. It's the weirdest thing.
I don't know.
It's a weird thing. I've never seen a camera do that.
What if
it's
I do
fascinating.
This? I don't even know what camera we are anymore. What if we are?
What if we are? Since we're talking about Magic singles tonight too, I'll also throw it out there to the chat to let people know I have a large amount of valuable Magic singles that I'm looking to sell. Don't ask me where they came from. I've been a collector for years. But I've got a large amount of valuable Magic singles that I'm looking to sell, to liquidate. And I'm willing to give some good deals. So if anybody out there is looking to pick up a ton of valuable cards, shoot me a message sometime when I'm not live on stream, and I'll discuss. How's it going over there? Are we still radioactive?
We're still radioactive.
We're still radioactive.
I was seeing if there was a way to adjust the...
Do it. There we go. Yes. I can only hold it so long, Joe. So long. Oh. And we're ready again. Stream tomorrow? Yeah, there'll be a stream tomorrow. It's not a holiday up in Canada this week. It was a holiday last
weekend. That's not better.
Whoa.
That is not better at all.
What did you do?
Let's delete that one. I was seeing if there was an exposure film. Let's see what happens. Hey, we're back. We're back.
Are we back?
We're not on the same stream.
No,
but we're back.
I don't think we're yeah.
I think I broke it.
Yeah.
I think I broke it.
Wait. Oh, wait. No, you are back on the same stream.
Am I back on the same stream?
I think we might be back on the same stream.
It's a little bit choppy, but let's give it a second here.
Wait. Are we back? I gotta move so I can tell if this is...
Can anybody see us? Are we in the stream?
Are we back?
Silly.
Are we back? I'm just gonna ask in the stream and see.
I see it here in YouTube. Yeah, but frozen.
Yes, but frozen. Okay.
Okay, well, let's give that a second.
Try changing cameras back and forth. That might...
Okay. I'm going to stop the recording.
Oh, okay.
And give my computer a break and stop the replay buffer. And we'll see if that helps. I'm going to go like this.
Where's Brian when you need him?
Where is Brian? I think we're frozen.
Can they hear us, though? Can you hear us?
It's less frozen. Oh, no.
I don't know if they can hear us.
I don't know. Let me see if I mess things up with that filter.
Well, I think it's working because I'm seeing like where I was bobbing back and forth.
Yeah.
Yes, they can hear.
That's what's important, right?
You can hear the sultry tones of our voices. While we're frozen, I'm just going to imbibe a beverage.
So that monitor works better. That camera works better. It might just be that camera that's being a pest.
Could be.
Well, let's see. Can you see this Goblin War Drums card here? Let's go.
Who are you calling the Goblin?
You heard me. One video works. Cool. Let's. All right. We're just gonna lose that other camera.
Yeah. That's the first time I've ever seen an OBS crash and somebody able to get back into the stream before it ended. I've never seen someone do that before.
Matt Down says he doesn't want to see our face.
That's fair.
So I'm going to just disable the host camera. Y'all can look at just a nice yellow box.
A nice yellow box.
Don't even. There we go. Okay, let's look at some cards here.
Sure.
Aaron, the color balance is auto on that camera, but it's super wonky, so I'm going to have to play with it a little bit. But, Jason, what else do you have for some cards here? We'll blow through some.
What else do I have some cards?
You won't be able to see our beautiful faces, but you can see the cards.
Would you like some Retribution?
We might have some Retribution.
Yeah.
That looks scary. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by one opponent. Bury one of those creatures and put a -1/-1 counter on the other. That opponent chooses which creature is buried. So this is a card I've seen before. Swords to Plowshares.
Good card.
Target creature is removed from the game entirely. Creature's controller gains life points equal to the creature's power. So, creature's controller. So if I play this on you, you get life points back.
Yeah, if you exile one of my creatures, I
Yeah.
gain health. If you
Okay.
decided to exile one of your own, you'd gain health.
You can get rid of your own.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Here's a card Joe's going to recognize. I know you're going to recognize it. Well, you got to take it and look
Well,
at
I've got to take it and look
You
at
actually have to look at the card, Joe, to
it.
recognize
Oh,
it.
yes. Yes. A tsunami, though different game.
Tsunami.
Yeah, Madtown, I agree. We do have some inconsistencies with OBS, but realistically, when it does work, it's great.
Yeah. But right now it feels like OBS just might be.
Paralyze.
Yeah.
It's paralyzing. It certainly is.
Which, when you're just trying to do a live stream, it's a real
Terror.
terror.
You're really good at this, you know?
That's what she said.
You're a real... Nope, won't call you that.
What? You big meanie. Come on now. Don't drain my life like that. Come on now.
Oy.
Come on. Hey, if anybody at home isn't enjoying this episode, feel free to give us some feedback. Feedback. Got it? The card's called Feedback, Joe. Do you get it? Feedback. See? Feedback.
Aaron says there's a 2-minute delay, so you gotta wait that long for a response. That's not entirely true, but it might be.
I'm just impressed that after your live stream died with OBS, you were able to raise the dead.
Oh my god.
That was like really good.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. That's our stream.
It's almost like you were able to cast regeneration on your OBS.
I will say I'm surprised that I was able to log back into the live stream.
So was I.
Yeah. Because OBS completely crashed, and I had to restart it, reconnect, and it managed to work.
It's almost like you had the healing salve that it needed.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. We've got a white screen of death error popping
Oh,
up.
that's letting us know that OBS crashed 5 minutes ago.
Wow, it's so informative.
Thanks, computer.
Where would we be without you, computer? Oh, yeah, driving home. Yeah. I'm running out of puns, Joe. I'm running out of puns. I need to borrow some of your unholy strength to get through this episode.
This looks more like a...
Don't give in to the weakness, Joe. Don't give in to the weakness.
looks more like a Bee Gees dance move.
I feel like the fact that we've saved this episode, you're going to see some wild growth in your viewership.
Have we saved the episode? That's what I'm not so sure about.
Come on, man. Don't disintegrate my ego like that. Come on.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
If you could see my face, which you can't, which you're welcome, you would know how just absolutely pleased I am with this man next to me.
Displeased? Oh, come on, Joe. Let me see.
Hey, this is another one of those X amount of damage to a target. So you should have this one too.
Yeah. In return for my $1,500 card you want to trade for?
Yes, that's what I said.
Yes. I think we're out of cards, my friend.
Okay, well, here's the thing. So if this card here says target creature loses -2 and -1, wouldn't that mean that they gain 2 + 1?
I think they reworded it later in the future because somebody pointed that out.
It loses negative score.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we try to switch back to the large camera?
So
If
they
it's
can see
working.
us drinking on camera. That sounds like a great idea. Let's try
Have
it.
you ever watched the Imperial Pulse show?
Many times.
Yeah.
Sometimes the only one.
Sometimes you have been the only one watching. It's true. Let's give this a try and see what happens.
See,
We are...
looks like it's
stuck.
Oh, it's glitchy. Let's hold the beer up and see if it sees the beer. Does it see the beer?
It sees the beer.
It sees the beer.
That's the important thing.
We can make this.
Oh, it's clear again. And it's gone.
We can make this an interactive episode, and everybody at home, go to your fridges, get out a beer, and let's start drinking together.
I have one in honor of the glitchy stream.
And the glitchy stream. You know, if Whitewater Brewing Co. decided to sponsor this episode, we'd be able to afford a better camera, and you wouldn't have to deal with this kind of stuff.
I have an idea. Bear with me a moment.
I will bear with you. What are we doing? Oh, look at this. We're pulling out the 4th camera. Ooh, this is impressive. This guy's got more cameras than car keys. It's impressive. Oh, it spun around on him.
Is that going to work? Let's see if there's a Jason. And hold on.
There's the me.
There goes the...
Hi, everybody. I'm way down here on that camera.
Okay, there's a you.
Hey.
There's a me.
Hey.
We just had to modify what we're doing here.
And look at our skin color.
It's normal.
We look normal.
Perfect.
They'll never know.
On that note, thank you everybody for watching what is...
probably the best episode ever filmed of Imperial Pulse. That's what you're going to say, right,
That's
Joe?
what I was going to say.
Yeah, I got it.
Yep, I'm not holding the camera with my hand at all while we try to film
Just
this last
imagine
scene.
if I wasn't here and you didn't have all these glitches to drive up the viewership numbers.
If YouTube was based on glitches, we would be like...
Right? We'd be
getting
Mr. Beast.
I'd be getting my silver play button
that's
anytime
right.
now. Yeah. Thank you everybody for watching tonight. And Jason, thank you for coming by and looking through my Magic stuff. And,
Yeah.
And showing some of your cool pieces.
Yes. With the bog humbug. There you go. You get a good look at a card. You can actually read it now.
There you go.
Yay! This is how we should have been doing the stream the whole night. Joe just holds the camera.
I just hold the camera.
That makes you the cameraman.
That's
right?
true.
Makes you the cameraman. And then one last one just to show everybody in good high def vision my super expensive volcanic island, which is for sale along with a whole bunch of other high value singles. So yeah.
Dun dun dun. So this is Jason, not Brian. Brian should be back next week.
Wait, I'm
this
not
camera,
Brian?
not that camera. This camera.
This camera. Turns out I'm not Brian.
No.
I was hoping that if I came here I would absorb the Brianness,
No,
but I'm not Brian.
no, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I just admire him a lot.
But
I
he
miss
should
Brian.
be
I
back
wonder
next
what
week.
he's doing.
I have no idea.
I bet you I know what he's doing. I bet he's asleep right
I
now.
bet he's
It's like
asleep.
1 a.m. in Ireland.
That's true.
Brian, we miss you. We're drinking beer in your honor, my friend.
We are. You could have been a camera tech today.
Yeah. We needed that third body.
Yeah. We will be back next week, 8 p.m.
We will?
Well, I will.
Yeah.
Maybe you will.
We'll see.
We'll see. We're probably going to have a fight after this. And
Oh, don't go, everyone. Don't go.
I will see you guys soon. Jason, thank you again. I will see you soon. We'll hang out soon.
I hope other people will see me soon, too. Depends how the fight goes after.
That's
the
right.
episode
Exactly.
ends.
Jason, I'm still Joe, and this has been Imperial Pulls. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, if you use it.
Outside Joe's house, if you know where he lives.
Yep. Discord.
He likes that.
Oh, I want to clarify something about Discord. I've had a few people say, we can't find your Discord server. Yeah. I've been saying for weeks that we're on Discord. We don't have a server. We're just at Imperial Pulls as a user. So send us a friend request. Maybe if we get busier, we'll get a Discord.
Yeah, what's up with that,
we'll
man? Then we can stalk you on Discord, too. Wouldn't that be great?
We'll see you again soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.
Bye.